If I have to bottle this up any longer, I will figuratively kill myself. This series is no stranger to my failed love life. Episode 100 was like 20 straight minutes of it, and scattered others throughout the numerical order have been host to my romantic experiences, sometimes in real time, for better or worse, typically worse. You might remember if you were around back then, but a few years ago when stream of consciousness was in its late 20s episodically, I went through a breakup, one that I didn't take well, because it was under stupid pretenses, and I decided to explain just how stupid they were in a specifically titled video called Why Me and My Girlfriend Broke Up. This video was a 5 to 7 minute straight rant where I pretty much just verbally incinerated all the circumstances surrounding the breakup, and it was not very nice about it at all. My audience was, shall we say, divided. Some applauded the passion and jokes, others were like, come on man, you know you gotta take this down. It pretty much was a call-out video after all, and the girl watched my channel and saw it, which despite everything I had said, I was still trying to get back together with her, and the video did not particularly help that endeavor. I almost managed it anyway, but in the end it's pretty hard to reconcile putting your ex-girlfriend on blast on YouTube for 20,000 subscribers at the time to see. Some of her friends tried to clap back at me in the comments, which was pathetic. Nobody's friends should get directly involved in their breakups, especially if they've never met the person they're trying to stand against. Like, who are you? What do you think you know about what's happening? But that video was a mistake. It wasn't right to go about it in the way that I did, a merciless one-sided conquest, half the story told in a vindictive fuck you tone. So I'm not going to tell this one like that, but I have to tell it. Other people have confidants, family, friends, therapists, cats. I have a USB microphone and iMovie 2013. My audience is my invisible confidant that I speak to as if it's God or a brick wall, not expecting a reply or even searching for one, but just to put words into the ether and manifest them into reality. I've told you about a hippie swimmer from Oregon, a medical student from Nebraska, and a country girl from Montana, so now I have to tell you about a girl with MS who lives in Connecticut. In early February of 2019, I got a random Twitter DM from a girl named Lauren. There was no message, just a Kingdom Hearts 3 meme about Sora not understanding technology, which was based on a King of the Hill reference, which is a show I've never seen. I am generally unimpressed with memes, and this was not an exception. However, the reason I didn't reply was because I was still in my previous Montana relationship, and starting a conversation with a random pretty girl on the internet is not how you keep that shit going. Also, I immediately stalked the girl's Twitter and found tweets referencing a current boyfriend, so I was like, yeah, fuck that. Which I would have said anyway, because I've never once cheated on somebody, but it helps to have multiple reasons not to instead of just one. A week later, Montana dumped me after ghosting me for 3 days because I told her I noticed she had been gaining weight, though I have a hunch this was a scapegoat issue to mask the fact that she just wanted to be done with long distance and be with someone local that she had probably already met. That's the problem with long distance. People still meet other people, and those people are closer than you, so you lose. It's a tale as old as time and a neat foreshadow, and boy, this hurts to type. Montana told me it was over through Snapchat one night, and after the conversation was over, I went right on Twitter and messaged this Lauren back. We got to talking, and pretty quickly I noticed just how good the rapport was. She had an energetic and fully charged personality, and it paired perfectly with my jokes and conversational stylings. I've never had banter that good with anyone else. In about 48 hours' time, I was almost grateful to my ex for having dumped me so I could experience this new girl and this new road to travel down. It turned out she was still in a relationship when she messaged me, but got out of it at almost the exact same time I got out of mine. It was a long-term one, 3 years, where he was abusive and violent. In my mind, I was glad to be in a position to be the breath of fresh air she needed. I wanted to counterbalance everything she had just been through and provide the polar opposite effect. As more time passed, we just got closer and our feelings just got stronger over a very short period of time. Shit was just rocketing along. I think 3 weeks in, I told her I loved her, and a week after that, she finally said it back. I was over the moon, saying all these grandiose things, gushing all the time. Neither of us had been looking for something like this so soon out of our past relationships, but we'd found it anyway. Because, like I said the last time I talked about this, love doesn't wait till you're fucking ready. Then I wanted to see her. In person. It was like a month after we started talking, and I wanted to meet up. She said she did too. She was an artist. She had made a drawing of her personal original character sitting in front of the Space Needle in Washington, where I live. It was adorable. I felt the pull. I have to be with people in person. I can't love someone from afar. That's absolute nonsense. I have to visit people or have them visit me. Then the opportunity started to manifest itself. My dad is a VP at a company, and he travels a lot, and it just so happened he had a trip to Connecticut on his itinerary, exact date and time TBD, but it was going to be in the next couple months, and I could hitch a ride. And that's when it stopped being a happy-go-lucky fantasy and became something real. For Lauren, that's when it created pressure. That's when it started wearing on her anxiety. That's when, at least as far as I can tell, reality came crashing back in for her. She had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. She had entered that relationship directly after a previous long-term relationship. That's 2 3-year relationships back-to-back with no breathing room. And now I come along? Am I just gonna further this cycle of suffocation and discontent? What if I'm just another abusive asshole? Is she really gonna spend her life moving from cage to cage with no freedom in between? Obviously, I don't see it that way, but she did. I think you're lucky if you can find someone special to be your companion. I don't think that opportunity should be squandered in favor of gallivanting around with random nobodies with no strings attached. Strings are lovely things. Without strings, there'd be no guitars or violins, and contrary to what Pinocchio would have you believe, puppets would just fall apart on the floor. Strings aren't your enemy. They're your foundation for love. But she pulled back. She wanted to be friends. I didn't know how she could do it so easily. I had been over here counting my lucky fucking stars that I had met someone as cool and funny and beautiful as her, watching my memories of my other past relationships shrivel up and seem puny in comparison. Even before she pulled back, she had always been adamant about not wanting to tie me down or prevent me from utilizing any other sexual opportunities that arose. But I wanted to be tied down. And I definitely wanted her to be tied down. Nothing makes me more sick to my stomach than the idea of someone else sticking their douchey dick into someone I love. Thinking about it makes my breathing irregular. But I was happy to make those kinds of sacrifices. I think they show how much you care and how much you're willing to put in. I always thought she just didn't understand that, but after recent events, I think she just didn't want to feel guilty about what she already wanted to do. I couldn't just be friends. I tried. But I'm spoiled and selfish. I want it all or nothing, because if I can't have it all, not being able to have it all is all I can think about. I just became insanely jealous and speculative, which is a terrible combination. I tried to curb it by telling her not to tell me if she ever did anything with anyone else, but I would just wonder about it in my head nonstop, and if she ever let something slip, I'd fucking pounce. I was punishing myself for no reason. It was too hard. I kept breaking off the friendship and then texting her a day later because I just felt so empty without her and so pathetic that I couldn't handle being friends with her. Every time she'd take me back just like that. She really wanted to be friends. She didn't love me anymore, but she still liked me as a person, but I wasn't being a likable person. I finally broke it off for good this morning, the morning of the night I'm typing this, which was last night from me saying this right now. Blocked her on most forms of social media, PSN, Switch, all of it. The trigger was a week-old tweet of hers I saw as I visited her page. It was talking about how great all the aspects of her life were, how it felt like everything was coming together, and it specifically mentioned a super cool dude she was messing around with. Her exact words. This tweet was sent the day after I first broke contact with her. It ain't about me. That's the problem with long distance. People still meet other people, and those people are closer than you, so you lose. No matter what I did, or how great I tried to be, I couldn't compete with a fucking zip code. It just feels like a complete and utter betrayal from someone who supposedly wasn't looking for another relationship. Maybe it's just casual. I don't care. I am currently going through the 5 stages of grief over this. First was denial. When talks were getting serious, we had talked about how maybe we were always meant to be together later in life. We made a pact to get married at 35 if nothing else was going on. Those kinds of grand promises are more symbolic than anything, but I held on to those thoughts in my mind and I really wanted to believe in them. Maybe 6 months from now it could work. Maybe a year. Maybe 2 years. Maybe we could find our way back to each other. I just couldn't let myself think it was a conclusion instead of a cliffhanger. Part of me still doesn't want to think it. Second was bargaining. I didn't want to lose her romantically. I even tried to be okay with her seeing other people if she would still just love me. I offered to be the one who packed up and moved in with her if our visits were sufficiently amazing. Of course, seeing her was never in the cards. She just wouldn't do it. Third, anger. I have my bouts of anger. I'm angry at the kind of person I turned into over this. I'm angry at her for being so damn anxious about shit. Definitely angry about there being a new special douchebag in her life. Fuck that guy. Not sorry. I hope he's a boring piece of garbage with a tiny dick and leukemia. There's no way he can be half the person to her that I could have been. I don't know anything about him, including what he looks like, but he's not as funny, he's not as cute, he's not as entertaining, he's not as endearing, and he'll never love you like I would have if you had given me half a chance. Definitely won't make you laugh as much. I'm fucking Sunburned Albino. I am Sunburned Albino. I have 100,000 subscribers. The fourth thing, depression. Yep, I'm there. Think about this shit all day and all night. I just sit in my chair and stare at nothing until a negative thought seeps in and riles me up. It's been impossible. Nothing takes my mind off it. I don't want to do anything. Even though I have her blocked, I continually check my phone to see if she texted me when I have literally made it so she can't text me. I just can't be as tiny a part of her life as she wants me to be, and for as much of my life as she takes up, I'm not getting near enough out of it. When we tried to be friends, We'd make a plan to play a game or something at night after work when she was free, and I would just sit and wait like a fucking lapdog, unable to focus on anything else. Of course, it didn't help that she was always later than I thought she'd be. I felt like she was stalling. And why wouldn't she? I was the most undesirable version of myself I could be at that time. The worst part is that I truly believe if she would just let me visit her, everything would be great. We'd hit it off, be as we were in the beginning, but in person, cuddle, have physical contact, be in each other's presence and take each other in, hang out, get drunk, just have the best possible time, and leave wanting more, setting us on a routine path of regular visits that would eventually culminate in moving in. But I can't have that, and it's devastating. I don't feel like I'm healing at all. And dating sites are completely screwing me over, and that shit ain't helping. I'm either being matched with fake accounts or finalists in the world's ugliest person contest. I'm being tricked and manipulated into paying for premium account advantages that don't work, and overall, I am just sinking into a black hole of despair. My last breakup barely affected me, and I was with that person for 6 months, and I don't have a single negative thing to say about the experience other than the very end. It was a great relationship, and I enjoyed every bit of it, but I didn't miss it, and that's because I met Lauren. Now I've lost Lauren, and there's no Lauren to replace her. I'm stranded on a deserted island, and there's no rescue in sight. As for stage 5, acceptance, I have yet to experience that one. I'm sure I'll be fine eventually. Everyone's fine eventually, but who knows how long that'll be. Thanks for being my audience once again.